Howdy. Welcome back to SciTrek, your sci-fi TV and movie channel. And welcome back to Stargate Outpost.
Mm-hmm.
Sarah, how are you this morning?
I am doing really good. Mariners won last night. Happy about that. So hopefully they win tonight and get to move on. We'll see.
Fingers are crossed.
Mm-hmm.
As long as the Astros do well and the other SciTrek teams do well, I'm always a happy camper. You know? I couldn't. I was about to say I couldn't care less about the Astros. That's false because they're the only team I actually care even a little bit about. But also, I don't know, baseball.
Yeah, I'm not like a huge fan. It's just Mariners are actually doing something in like 25 years or whatever it's been.
Well, that's the fun part. I just like the camaraderie of just the local sports teams and all that kind of stuff. It's always just more fun.
Yeah, I'm just kind of getting into that.
Yeah.
And hockey season officially started yesterday, but none of my teams have played yet. But
because those are the Krakens, right?
Yeah, the Kraken, and I follow some other teams too, but mainly the Kraken. Yeah.
You'll be prepared for some lady hockey stuff in the future. Just
oh yes, I gotta get cracking on that.
But talking about Krakens, talking about crazy things.
Yeah.
Stargate and Catherine Langford within the world of Stargate.
Yeah.
We've deep dived. We did Stargate Origins Catherine.
Mm-hmm.
2, maybe 3. I think 2 Stargate Outpost ago. No, I think it might have been 3.
Yeah.
However many it was.
Yeah. Couple back.
We dove back into Stargate Origins Catherine and figured out it's a little bit better than we expected it to be. Let me turn my Wi-Fi off of my phone just so things aren't competing real quick. Is that how Wi-Fi works? I'm pretty sure. I don't know.
Maybe.
Fingers crossed. That's how I tell myself. Catherine, we rediscovered, I guess, the origin story of her back in the I guess 40s, and it's not the best Stargate project there ever was.
No,
but it tickled our fancy a little bit more than we expected it to, which was nice. Obviously, we rewatched the movie just for this, and that's probably a good starting point for her. That's when we get all the backstory that we get from Origins. That's when we get all this kind of how she fits in with now. And, it is kind of sad, I guess, by SG-1 that we don't see Catherine still kind of leading up all the SGC or even being of importance or pertinence to them.
Yeah, it would have been nice to see maybe her sprinkled a little more throughout the show. That seems like after the second season, we really don't see her again, I don't think.
I don't think so. I think 69 is the last episode.
Things, but yeah. Yep.
Because we don't see... I think the last episode we see the new actress for Catherine is... oh my God, what's the other episode of season 2? Because I think that's the last time we see her, because in 1969 and season 4 is just...
a different...
The young version of her, and then even the younger version of her. Quick.
There, but for the grace of God.
Ah, there we are. We literally were just talking about that.
Yeah, that's where she's still... I don't know if she's running the SGC, but she's in a leadership position. Because we have General Jack O'Neill.
Which is above Hammond in there, which still confuses me a little bit.
Yeah, it's a little weird.
It's just a little funky. It did really crack me up. We were watching that episode, and some of my friends were over and had never seen Stargate before.
Right.
And this set of episodes, the Catherine episodes were the first series of episodes one of my buddies had ever seen of Stargate in general. And I think he's got a decent grasp on what Stargate is now because of it,
Right.
It was surprisingly a good little through line of what you could follow. Because we, while playing cards or getting ready to just write in this writer's room I keep talking about, we'll have some stuff on in the background. And while I need to watch some Stargate, we're watching some Stargate, It's been interesting to see people watch it for the first time in front of me, that I enjoy watching. And I think Catherine's a good way to start it.
Yeah.
Would you suggest almost doing a weird kind of Star Wars version of Stargate in a sense? I know that sounds odd in its own way, but in the sense of viewing order, because you can kind of watch any viewing order for Star Wars that you'd like that kind of correlates to what you want to see when.
Right. Yeah.
I kind of like. I might suggest people to watch the Catherine episodes first.
Right, because well, Infinity is its own thing. You don't need to worry about that.
Totally.
But
And
yeah, but
I guess I'm not even
like the origins. And it does touch on the night when they found the gate in 1928 from the movie. They replay that.
Well, I guess I'm
Yeah, I
almost
mean, I
talking
guess it'd
about.
be interesting to kind of see what she was like in those in between years, because in the movie you just see her as a little girl and then an old lady, and there's like a
Yeah.
lot of life that was lived in the middle there you don't get to see. So maybe seeing a little bit of that, I don't know. But then it's like you're watching. It's kind of difficult.
It
But I
is a
mean, you
little
could
difficult.
see I guess you could see Origins first. It wouldn't hurt to see that first,
I,
and just
I,
know, like, okay, that's just a story that's in this universe. We get to see her. It doesn't matter because they don't remember it, but yeah.
yeah,
But it does tell you. But I don't know. Does it really give you something about her character though? Because I don't know if I like her version or representation of her character in that movie, because I think they're trying to make her like she's this sort of young, free spirit, adventurous, bucking up against the, patriarchy or something. Um, you
and it
know,
seems like she led
but
the SG stuff for a while, and then
yeah,
obviously in 1969 we see that
yeah,
she's kind of settled and doesn't want to not doesn't want to be a part of any of that anymore. But
right.
it's
She's
not
just
part
kind
of
of
her
living
life.
her life. So like what drew her back into, at some point, what made them want to get the Stargate program up and running again that we see in the movie.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. I mean, that's a
how
good
many
point.
years was that before,
She had
but
to have been late 30s, early 40s, and 69, right?
yeah, I'm thinking like I just said like middle age, but probably like 40s, I would guess. Well, if she was like,
She was
because what
about
she looks
18,
like
20.
about in 1928, she looks like she's about 10.
Yeah, that's a
So,
good.
um, so I don't know, extrapolate from there. So that'd be like she was wow, okay. That
I
means
guess
she'd been like
97. She's about 70.
50s, like she would have been like in her 50s in the 60s, I guess.
Okay.
Mm-mm.
Dang. Dang, dang, dang.
Maybe. I don't know. I'm guessing.
It'd
Trying to do
have to
math
be
on the
around
fly
like.
is not a good thing for me. So, um,
Well, I wasn't even thinking about necessarily like Stargate Origins Catherine when I was talking about the Catherine episodes to begin with, but
mhm.
it is kind of it's a good place to start because it starts with such a low bar,
Right. Yeah.
Everything you watch after is just going to keep getting better,
Mhm.
and it does inform a lot of the things that you will be getting used to watching regular Stargate, the film, the
Right.
series, spin-off
Mhm.
shows, so on and so forth. But I guess what I meant to say was the Catherine episodes of SG1 might be a fun place to get people to watch Stargate first, because I don't think it
Mhm.
throws anyone off the story, because you get first episode is Torrent of Tantalus, and you just kind of
Right.
get a little bit of, okay,
Yeah.
this is still season one. I'm not
Yeah.
losing a bunch of I'm not getting too much information, and I'm not completely lost whenever I just join in the middle of an episode as well, kind of in the middle of a season.
Mhm. Yeah.
After that, is it the gods episode or what? I have it on my phone right here. Because we get an alternate dimension, and then we get 1969 as well for our next two like
Mhm.
true times
Yeah.
we hang out with Catherine. Um,
Yeah.
and yeah, I guess it's 1969, and then
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
the
which
gods
they
episode.
only just sit down with her where, Daniel does that really bad German accent and
Which my friend did bring up a good point.
but
Is Catherine, the way Daniel and Sam are right there, they make it
yeah,
seem like they are about to go on a heist for the Stargate, and Catherine just
yeah.
gives them the information.
Yeah, I guess she just, I don't know, because they don't tell her anything that's going on. They're just he just pretends he's like
Mein Vater is all he.
the son of one of the guys from the 1945 experiments or whatever. Because
And
if
he's
you
obviously
notice,
German, which is
yeah,
also kind of like.
yeah, because when they show at the beginning of Torment of Tantalus, when they're showing that the video, or whatever, the film they took in 1945, there is like a German guy there.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I
Good
think
point.
Daniel's pretending to be his son or something, and
Yeah,
they're kind of
because he kept
wanting to,
saying "thine
yeah,
father," "mine father." It's like
yeah, yeah. That was so bad.
I don't know if I've ever met a German person that speaks
Yeah.
like that. Still, like,
But it was funny, but it was like they did it so like seriously, and it was just so like, it's like, how did they must have cracked up at least a
oh,
couple times filming that. No way, you know.
there.
But
Michael Shank's face is far too serious while he's
oh
doing
yeah,
those scenes. There's
yeah,
no way they didn't just immediately cut and just start cackling. There's
exactly.
there's no way.
Yeah.
So is Catherine the first Lara Croft without the guns?
They were
Hell yeah. I
Yeah, they
mean,
were
I
kind
guess
of
Lara
trying to
Croft.
make her like a Laura Croft, like a Evie from the Mummy movie.
Yeah, uh-huh.
Um, that kind of
That's an
thing.
even better reference, honestly.
Yeah.
Lara Croft is kind of perfect. Just she
Hmm.
didn't start shooting things up. I guess Evie
Right.
shoots things up too, but
Yeah.
Catherine had the potential to become something like that, and I guess she still kind of does. It would be kind of fun to see almost an older Catherine. I don't know. We can always pitch old new
Yeah.
freaking Stargate series of how they would go or something like that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. A
we
Catherine prequel series.
we have seen what that looks like, and it wasn't necessarily the best.
Yeah, I don't know if that would be real. I mean, wouldn't it be just kind of the same thing, only a woman leading it or whatever?
That or it
Like,
literally just turned into
lady.
Lara Croft with okay, we can do
Yeah.
stuff, but we
Yeah.
can't do what we really want to do because then it would ruin the main series later on.
Yeah, I think it would tangle with canon. I think too much would be difficult to do. Yeah.
Come
Because, it wasn't until Old Lady that they figured out how to. Anyway, that's the thing we can get to. But what we got off, what are we trying to? We were talking about the movie.
Yeah, just the
But,
way she kind of gets in there. David just
I
got
mean,
that funny.
I have some thoughts on Torment of Tantalus, but I don't know if we're there yet in what we're trying to do here. But
We can
anyway,
be there whenever we want to be there, technically.
okay.
Do we
No,
want
I
to keep
just
the movie or just jump into Tantalus? Because I'm fine with that.
Okay. Well, I'll just do my Tantalus thoughts. Because I always wondered, like, because I hadn't seen it in a while, and I forgot, like, okay, so how do they explain that they activated the gate and she doesn't remember or know about it? But then, of course, obviously in the episode we find out she wasn't involved and they didn't tell her. But still, it seems kind of ridiculous to me. Like, this is kind of a plot hole, I guess is what you would call it. Like, even though they agreed, like, okay, we're gonna like shut up about what happened, we're just gonna say Ernest died, which maybe that's what they really believed. I don't know, because they don't know what the gate exactly was. But it's like nobody who worked on that project, even if they weren't gonna say what happened, nobody on that project could be like, let's try this thing that we did before that I know worked, but I can't say it did. So I'll just suggest, it seems like someone could have somebody knew how the gate worked and didn't say anything. Like, even if they couldn't say what happened, you could, in a roundabout way, still get to that. It seems like. So that seems like a little bit of a
You mean in the sense of like they never rescued Littlefield?
right. They just said, like, they just, like, her dad or whatever, they told her, they kind of covered it up. Like, when Daniel was going through the records, there was nothing that said anything about what happened. He just saw that footage that showed Ernest going in, disappearing, and then the film ended. They don't know what happened.
Yeah.
And so I'm just saying, like, okay, so, and then Catherine she didn't know how to make the gate work. She didn't know that they had activated it before.
Yeah.
So they had all agreed. I get why her dad and stuff, like, wanted to keep it a secret. So everybody that worked on that project, like, all just decided to keep it a secret, that they figured out how it worked. And it's like, okay, even if they didn't want to say what happened to Ernest, because maybe there's guilt or their cover up or whatever, or they think he died, and whatever it is, it's like nobody would have been able to kind of in a roundabout way tell him how to get the gate to work without revealing what happened, you know?
I guess they wouldn't have known necessarily to do that back then. They wouldn't have
Yeah.
known if it was a one-way or even a two-way door.
Right. But it's like, it seems like they could have gotten the gate to work again. Like, not very long after that. Like, because there was people that knew how to get the gate to work, but they kept that secret, and they spent all this time and money trying to figure it out and having to bring
Yeah.
Daniel. You know what I mean?
Well, because they don't say, well, we accidentally did the gate. It was more like, oh, we didn't realize exactly what we were doing, but we were dialing this stuff in and it worked.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
we sent somebody through.
Yeah.
I'd assume it was a classified experiment, the Stanley says, that resulted in the loss of Ernest. Possibly Catherine at the time may not have had the security clearance.
Right.
No, totally. That's what they say. Yeah.
True, but I'm just saying, like, later on, when they started, the Stargate project up again, and she couldn't figure out how to work. Well, obviously there was people that knew how to make it work and didn't.
It is. They make sense of it while you're watching the episode, and it makes sense while you're watching it because you're like, all right, okay. Paul McGillian is now not Scottish, and he's back American, and he's old version of Catherine's beau, and here we are, and there he is, and now we're done. That's kind of that. At the end of the day, is okay. He went through the gate, and we lost somebody. We feel bad about that. We don't know what this gate can do. We're going to shut it off just for the sake of being cautious.
Right.
Let's think about that for a moment. This is definitely during the Cold War.
Yeah, or right before, just the early. Well, it's like 1945. So this is.
That was still 45 with
right at the end of the World War II, right around the end of World War II.
One way or another, I guess.
Cold War
era. It's in that World War II Cold War era. Would they not be looking for anything and everything they can to get advantages? I mean, this is the same time the space race is going on. Right. This is the same time nuclear missile crises are happening. Like,
right. It just seems weird. I mean, maybe they just felt like they they had to cover up what happened. So they just were getting off of Catherine totally.
I mean, that's what the answer is that they give us.
Yeah. Is they just
wanted about it.
Like, forget it happened. It was like a bad thing that happened. Let's move on. Well, they still didn't really know, I guess, what it did, like what happened to him. Just that he went through it. It turned off. They assumed he was dead. They probably really did think he was dead.
I am shocked that they didn't just give him a radio whenever they went through the gate.
Yeah, but I don't know if that would have. I mean, they could have done that, I guess. But I don't know. In 1945, did that exist? I mean, something that would survive that kind of thing or whatever. I don't know, because they had him in like a deep dive suit.
Yeah, and it's what he puts back on after he's like naked. And you're just like, can you please put some clothes back on, doctor?
I mean, I do like how she finds out he's alive and they meet up again. It's kind of sweet and it's nice, and how they have to figure out the gate, and Daniel getting caught up in wanting to stay there, even if it means he doesn't come back ever. He just gets so caught up in it.
It's one of the most interesting episodes of all of Stargate, in my opinion. I really, really like it. David jokes that cautious and Americans, 2 words you don't put together. Agreed. Like, we test the limits of things. We're like, do we poke the bear? Let's poke the bear twice, just to check,
I mean, it is kind of weird they didn't, as far as we know. Maybe there's, there could be another story there. But anyway. But I guess they had to do it that way for it to make sense in the canon or the movie or whatever.
Of course.
Yeah.
It just doesn't convince me. Like, you're in the middle of a space race. You're in the middle of this Cold War, arms war, one way or another.
Yeah.
There's no way somebody's curiosity doesn't get the best of them and say, okay, we're going to try that again. We're going to put a radio on the guy this time. Like,
right.
something, or we're going to send him with a weapon just in case, or send him with something that he can get home with, send him with a generator or something,
Right.
you know?
Right. And maybe the fact that the DHD was broken on the other side prevented, if the DHD worked on the other side, maybe
he would have tried. He
Yeah.
probably would have figured it out.
Yeah.
They kind of allude to it.
Yeah.
Still, though, you'd think they'd try to give him some kind of help, but
Mhm.
nothing.
No, they're just like, bad thing happened, shut it down, run away.
Yeah, which again, you're in the middle of all these warring things. Technically, I guess there was some war going on when SG-1 starts in the late 90s, early 2000s, but it's not like you don't. I guess we kind of do look back and it's a little war torn to a degree. But we don't see any of that taking place. Technically, I don't even know if like Iraq and Afghanistan, anything in those time periods, so on and so forth, were even happening in SG-1 timeline of the whole world.
I don't think it was, but I don't know.
Because it seems like we're at a relatively peaceful kind of place on Earth, and it's more just political, almost like UN battles. We literally let Russia into the SGC.
Yeah, we work with
China, England, all these different places into the SGC.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm thinking it's a bit of a plot hole. I mean, it's
right. Well, and also the Germans in Origins figured out how to turn it on. But their memory got erased, so
and
they died or memory erased.
There's no longer any Germans from that TV show, movie, all of the above.
Right.
They didn't know the home symbol for Earth till Jackson figured it out in the movie. Yeah. They do imply that Ernest probably would have figured it out.
Right. But, yeah, he would have. I mean, he would have had 50 years to. Anyway, I don't know if he would have been able to figure out the symbol, but he would have had time to just. He may have by chance figured it out.
I know you briefly mentioned it earlier about you wish that we would have seen more Catherine throughout the series.
Yes,
and that's the biggest hell yeah, of course. But I think Ernest would have been a good person to come back to as well. Like, see how much almost a Captain America like figure, and there's all this time that I've missed. The world's like this now,
Yeah, it would have been nice to kind of have a glimpse of that, of how, because obviously he was going to need a little help. Being alone for 50 years, you're going to go, like, he was imagining that Catherine was there with him. The whole time, which is fine. You understand why that happens, whatever. He'll have to go through some therapy or whatever, but it would have been nice to see, like, maybe have like they get married or something, just like sweet ending, just to see an end to that story, that they ended up happy together or whatever.
I feel like it could parallel or not even parallel at the time. I guess it would have almost led into kind of Cassie really well. I think it would have been a parallel, but on a different like age range of it. You're like, all right, let's get Catherine and her boyfriend from 50 years ago and married, rather than, okay, we got a little girl that needs a home now. Who is best suited for that? Kind of, okay, we got an old guy that needs a home. Catherine's best suited for that. We know that one already. It is a bit of a plot hole. That does kind of, it makes me roll my eyes at least a little bit. But I
mean, I get why they had to kind of do it, but it's just, it's kind of fun to point out.
I did enjoy seeing Paul McGillian as just a different character, of course.
Yeah, that was kind of cool that he came back.
Would you rather? I know we talked about we're gonna just come up with a show whenever, yada yada. But would you rather, if we were going to end up following a little bit more Catherine, follow? Of course, we wouldn't be hiring the same actresses or actors of the time 15 years ago when they filmed all this, but someone that looks along the likes of young Catherine, or would you rather see like an older Catherine story of her reinvigorated almost by Dr. Daniel Jackson and Sam in the 60s to kind of, maybe that's what invigorated her to kind of jump back into the Stargate and
that could
dive
make
into
sense. that, she started, but I don't know if that would make an interesting show. Maybe
No,
like an episode of seeing,
a little mini
or
series would be cool.
yeah, like an
We get
episode
more
or like a
Stargate.
little made for TV movie kind of thing of how like, that moment got her thinking about it, and yeah.
Yeah, Stanley's brought up something that'd be sweet. When Dr. Fraser dies, they could have given Cassandra to Catherine Ernest. Catherine was
Yeah.
dead by about 4 or 5 years at that point, though, because
Yeah, I think so.
Fraser dies in season 8, and Catherine's mentioned dead in season 4.
No, season 8 is when she dies. It's
Oh, season 8.
Yeah, it's Mobius part 1 that she dies. That's when Daniel goes to her funeral and meets her niece, daughter, niece, whatever she was. Anyway. Yeah, because I was like, does Catherine have kids? She doesn't, right? It's that's her niece, that chick. Okay.
Not that they ever talked to us about. I was kind of trying to think about that, because that would have been a natural kind of successor to have go to the SGC as well, which I guess it makes sense that that's not there, which would be because if Catherine did have like a son or a daughter, you would think the Langford would still be in SGC somewhere.
Yeah. Well, they do say in There But for the Grace of God episode that, Daniel is talking to Catherine, is like they forced her to retire. So
yeah.
That's true. In his reality. But another thing about that episode is like Daniel basically convinces that reality to like sacrifice itself for his, I realized, which is like, wow.
It's an intense episode.
Yeah. Yeah.
I never know how to feel about it after watching it. Because I'm like, this is really cool. It's also totally just Monster of the Week, but it's really cool at the same time.
Right.
And
well,
I like
it does
everything.
Kick off leading to them, attacking Earth and all of that. But yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good episode. It's a lot better than I remembered.
It is. The one episode that was also decently better than I remembered, there's been a little bit since I've watched it. That was also, oh yeah, I see why this isn't one of the favorites of Stargate at the same time, but it's still a good episode, is 1969. I enjoy 1969. It is.
Yeah, it's a fun. It's kind of the one of the first kind of really lighthearted episodes they did, isn't it? I mean, not that it's just kind of a fun, we get to see them out of their element. I don't know. I like 1969. There's people that hate it, I know, but I enjoy that episode.
I guess I get where they're coming from, but I'm with you. I enjoy it a lot.
Yeah, I just like the whole thing with like Hammond. Oh, so Hammond has known about this like the whole time. I always think that's funny. He's just been waiting for this moment to happen like all these years.
I love the moment of how scared they all are when Sam's like, yeah, we gave this to Hammond. He just has to put it. He has to make sure that the solar flare's on the right side of the sun, so we go back in time, or rather than future time, or whatever it is. We hit the right time,
right?
And of course, they go way too far in the future, and then they see Cassandra like that.
Yeah, I had forgotten about that little. They put that little thing in there about
the
Cassandra thing. I was like, does that really need to be in there? I mean, it's interesting, I guess, but it was kind of. I'd totally forgotten that little bit was in there.
It kind of makes me ponder. I don't know if that can be in Stargate, and hopefully when. Oh, I was about to throw all my notes around the room. If and hopefully when we get new Stargate, obviously, no hard reboot, please. And when the soft reboot and just not even a reimagining, just a reawakening of Stargate. That's what I'm going to start to say. Reawakening.
I mean, if we get away from the legacy characters later on, that's fine. But let's like make it feel familiar and at home, and this is Stargate, and then we can move from there.
Yeah, I mean, look at SG-1 by the end of it. We only had half the same characters. Even Jack wasn't there 80-90% of the episodes.
Right, he only did
done and done well. Yeah.
But I mean, they brought in, Claudia Black and all that too. But,
and it might not be everybody's favorite, but it does work, and I'm pretty sure everybody has kind of not. It was a much shorter period of time before people were like, "Oh yeah, I kind of like Vala and Cam. Oh yeah, I like everything that's going on here." A much shorter distance of time between that and Jar Jar's a good character. Oh, I like the prequel movies. That took an extra decade. I think, So I guess Stargate's got that going for it no matter what. But
Yeah, Hammond wanting his money back. That was great. It was what $536 or something. It's like
I do love that they rely on him for that science. But I guess the point I was trying to make there was, in the future, if we get the soft reboot and we're starting around where we are now, obviously technologically we would be far more advanced than where we ended, because we have all the Asgard tech.
Right. And how they integrate that into real life would be interesting.
Yeah, and just where we see Cassie at the end of this episode, where she literally waves open the Stargate for everybody. How close are we to that?
Right.
Because what? We stopped this series about 13, 15 years ago. About 15 years ago for SG-1.
Right.
Cassie was kind of about 20 then. She's probably mid to late 30s. Maybe 40 if you want to put her in that range. Somewhere in that general vicinity. What's that? Probably about 15 or 20 years off from where they ended up in that episode, because Cassie didn't seem like she was in her 70s or 80s. She's probably late 50s, 60s.
I think she's supposed to be very old, but it's like she's, when the show ends, she's a teenager?
Yeah, I think she's about 18 because she's graduating.
So if they're 50 years in the future, she'd be 60. So maybe. But it couldn't be more than maybe 40 to 60 years in the future, somewhere in there.
Yeah. So how do we get there?
We're almost 20 years right now.
I mean, but
I guess the Asgard tech, maybe, because she had that little wristband that whatever activated the gate, which seemed kind of
almost Goa'uld-ish.
Yeah, it was kind of, but it just seemed like that was sort of a convenience for the episode, I think.
But like the Goa'uld did, the Goa'uld, like Teal specifies multiple times over the series, are just scavengers. They're not actually making their own technology or anything, so they very well may find or even rebuild ancient technology, and that might be what we're seeing to some degree.
Yeah. That was one of the things with Torment and Tantalus that they were saying, this could prove that the Goa'uld are scavengers, that they're not the builders, the original builders of the gate and stuff. Yeah.
And Teal, that was the one or two times he spoke in the episode. I love it whenever early on. I love, obviously, Teal'c with more lines is preferable. Teal'c with more to say is preferable. It is fun early on, though, when he's utilized just perfectly for each of those moments. He's they don't give him much to do, but every time he has something to do, it is to just nail a point home or drive a joke home or something like that, and it just works.
Yeah.
It is that hard boom,
Yeah. He does the straight man stuff really well.
It's almost as thunderous and amazing moments as his voice, he was great with all of that.
Yeah.
I would like to see them, if they do this soft reboot that we're hoping for down the line, I'd like them to take that Cassie just moment into account and say we have to bridge the gap between that and where we need where we need to be from where we ended and had all the Asgard tech, the Goa'uld tech we had and had taken, so on and so forth. Because there's probably plenty of story to tell there. It would be kind of hard to differentiate what's what.
Right. I mean, it leaves the door wide open to come up with whatever creative thing you want to come up with of technology,
Who's to say that's not something after Universe and the Destiny gets back, and that might be a planet builder device or something like that.
Yeah.
Who knows? There's so many different little options they could go with, and I hope they play with those options. Because because they've laid such great groundwork. And Catherine, just alone in the Catherine episodes that we've watched, are great groundwork for a series. They could be the first few episodes of a series, and you would have had me hooked.
What is our favorite version of Catherine?
that was kind of
we figured out what there's 6 versions of her that we see. Oh, here we go. Bring it up.
We've got Young at the gate.
Yeah.
We've got Origins, second youngest Catherine.
Yep. And then the 1945.
Yes, this is the one when Catherine's about to get married.
Yeah.
Then we get Catherine in her, I guess, 50s, 40s?
Somewhere in there.
Somewhere in that range.
Yeah.
And, of course, we have movie Catherine.
Yep. And
TV Catherine.
I like them. Yeah, you can ask about. My favorite version of Catherine is the movie version. You know, she seems like someone who's lived a lot of life, has a lot of interesting stories to tell. She has a lot of like wisdom, insight. She's clever. I really like that version of her.
Yeah, I'm between the movie and just the regular SG-1 version.
I guess we get more in depth through the show because we get, a couple episodes of her. The SG-1 Catherine is quite different than the movie version in a lot of ways, but
Gary,
I don't hate it. It's fine. I get it. It's what they had to do for the show. I don't think she does a bad job. It's fine.
I think it makes sense after a couple years. She's now kind of more, oh, look, it's my buddies from a few years ago. Why'd y'all kick me out? Kind of.
Yeah.
Movie Catherine, you never forget your first Catherine.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love movie Catherine, but I think the early SG-1 version of Catherine is probably ultimately my favorite because we get a little bit more time with her, but also just the emotions we see her go through. We see her, like she says in Torment of Tantalus, I feel like a schoolgirl again because she sees within the elderly's eyes, we go through like a middle school love story again. It's kind of, it's sweet. It's really fun. And then later on, when we go to the alternate dimension, she's kind of badass. I mean, she's just over there giving people orders, and all right, Sam's over here blowing herself up. She's like, everybody else is sacrificing themselves. You get to the gate, Daniel. I'm going to sit my ass right here. You're going through. And we're sacrificing ourselves, and I'm making sure everybody does it.
Right.
And I like the range of emotions that we're able to get from the actress, at least.
We get a good range. For sure.
Because she's solid. I really do wish we would have been able to get more of her throughout the show. And a little bit of touchback from Ernest, too. And just the way they turned out.
Maybe they could have been like sort of grandparents to Cassandra. It would have been
great. Nice. Who brought that up a second ago? When Dr. Fraser dies, they could have given Cassandra to Catherine Ernest. That's right. Yeah. It would have been a little bit of a not timeline discrepancy. I don't think that would have worked just because of how soon Catherine passes, and we probably wouldn't want Ernest raising Cassie.
Right. Yeah.
He's still raising himself and learning everything about the Earth that he's missed, But it would have been fun to have had almost a familial line of found family through Stargate, which we don't not have. We do have with Cassandra, but it would have been nice to have had an extra set of quote unquote lineage there,
And I love her and Daniel's relationship like that. I noticed both the Tantalus and Grace episodes. You really see it's a lot of Daniel. You get to see a lot more of things drawn out from Daniel, that I really liked. Their reunion when he goes to tell her about, Ernest is still alive. You know,
And
that was really sweet.
oh, it's so good.
And they were kind of mad at each other because they're like, you know, supposed to be, you know, like, why didn't you tell me you were back? And
why didn't you tell me the gate opened in the 1940s or whatever?
Like they have that kind of relationship is cool, you know.
It makes so much sense.
Mhm.
I watched The Curse while watching all these things as well, just for the brief mention, and I would have loved to have seen. I don't remember the actress's name that does Osiris later on, but her and then the other colleague, if they would have found a way to just include them a little bit, there are so many pieces to the Stargate puzzle that just correlate with one another so well, and they have the time to do it. They had the scope and vision to do so as well. I'm just, I guess, assuming studio time. They would rather a monster of the week at that time period rather than trying to follow a little bit more of a thread. But, it would have been fun to have these threads pull that.
Yeah.
I don't even want to say the word, but if a hard reboot were to happen, those threads would be something that I think we would want to be tugged. But I don't want a hard reboot. Please no. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I just got a notification saying this stream starts in 30 minutes. So am I in the past? Altering the future?
Maybe.
No, we do have a little video of just, I think it's just 3 or 4 minutes. It's just a longer clip from one of our most previous episodes of Outpost. So check it out. Check it out.
Yeah, I saw we're putting up some shorts.
Yeah, no.
I was going to say something and I forgot. Now we got off track.
Anyway. Well, we're.
I think shows are more character driven now than they were at the time they were making this show.
Oh,
you know,
very much so.
I mean, there's constantly I'm watching it and thinking like, if this episode, you know, like in Mobius when Daniel goes to the funeral and he meets up with the niece or whoever she is, it's like if that was done today, they would have had them hook up. Where they just kind of were a little flirty with each other and then it didn't go anywhere. It's like if that was done today, they would have totally had them like get together, I think.
And even if they didn't have them get together, she would have been the next episode and they would have gotten together then, because then they would have had a little bit of a plot line to focus on there, and it would have given them some something to go with. Yeah. Yeah. I'm not going to say missed opportunities because they tugged on so many new opportunities that still worked.
Yes.
But damn, there's just so much. You're in a time loop now, David. Perhaps hit some golf balls to the gate.
Yeah, might as well.
Just so y'all see right here. Y'all see this wonderful. And if you search Stargate Catherine, look what's popping up now. Oh, this is our thumbnail. We're there. We're there.
We've arrived.
What else about Catherine though? She's the person that started Stargate in a lot of ways.
Yeah, she's kind of
her dad, the Langfords.
Yeah, I mean, she kind of took it over. She took it to the next level beyond like what her father did, which is good. I mean, she's obviously a very smart, capable. You know, like I said before, she's kind of like I think they want to portray her sort of as a woman ahead of her time in terms of like, you know, doing things for women and things like that. I know was it in 45? Oh, in Torment and Tantalus, she was talking about how, I wasn't part of the project because they didn't have a use for a 21-year-old woman then or whatever.
Yeah.
And so she kind of seems like she kind of
salty.
pushed into that field more, you know, like she was one of the early, I don't know what you want to say, pioneers or something of being a woman in that field, running this kind of thing. Yeah.
Because, if I were her, I would have been salty too. Yeah. I mean, she was so much more involved within just the going-ons of the project than any other average Joe would have been. Oh, God, no, David. No. I'm not even putting it on the screen. Yeah. Was Catherine an actual archaeologist?
It kind of assumed. I mean, her father she grew up in that world. So even if she wasn't formally educated, she grew up, you know, her life was in archaeology. She was at dig sites. She was with her father doing all of these things. So just, I don't know.
Hey,
just
yeah,
her
okay.
life
And
experience.
let me bring this back up real fast. I did just Google.
Mhm.
In the Stargate franchise, Catherine Langford's
Okay. Yeah.
profession, excuse me, was an
Yeah.
archaeologist, initially
Makes
accompanying her
sense.
father on a dig in 28.
Yep.
Huh.
Yeah.
Which just begs the question of, because she lived in a nice house by the time we see her in
Mhm.
1969. She's obviously had a decent life. Is she just
Yeah.
is she your regular Daniel Jackson at that point, and that's why they have the relationship they have?
Yeah, I
That
mean,
would make
she
sense.
definitely is a Daniel Jack I mean, her and Daniel are very
Two
much
peas
alike
in the
in a
same
lot of
pod.
ways. They both have that curiosity and the willingness to figure it out and explore. Um, a cult.
On-site apprenticeship rather than schooling. Yeah, I
Yeah.
could see her being a kind of
Yeah, she just grew up in it, and
yeah.
I mean, she probably got some formal education too. You'd think somewhere
Oh,
along, or she must have had a tutor or something when they were traveling.
there's no way she didn't. She's got to
Yeah.
have
Hmm.
probably a degree or two, and probably a couple other things that they just haven't.
Right. Yeah. Again, I always kind of think of her as like an Evie from The Mummy.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
That's what I relate to her the most.
Easily the
Mhm.
archetype for something like that. Or I guess the
Mhm.
Mummy technically came first, didn't it? The first
Yeah,
Mummy's.
99, I think. Yeah, 2000,
Well,
somewhere
I guess
around.
then Catherine might be just a little bit before that,
Yeah.
but I'm sure that the
Mhm.
Mummy informed what they wanted to do with Catherine, kind of, or at least
To a
the
degree.
type of character they were
Yeah.
forming for
Mhm.
her. Yeah, there's just so she's so interesting, but there's not a
Mhm.
whole lot to necessarily um,
Right.
hang on and dive further into. But there's so many things that would be fun to dive further into with Catherine.
For sure.
She's such a good character. Like, I mean, she's a little Lara Croft, Evie. Not, isn't it? Is it
Mhm.
Evie Russell? Isn't that the character's name?
I don't remember her last name,
I'm
but
searching it.
she also was their parent because her and her brother, how are they in that world? I know anyway, her brother's sort of a
Who? Evie's brother, or
Evie's brother,
okay?
he's sort of a bit of a character where she's like kind of the nerd girl in the books who falls in love with the adventurer, and in the second movie she's better, she's more not
Ha-
so
yeah,
like damsel in distress, I'm just a nerd, I don't know what I'm doing kind of thing. She's more like,
she gets that badass sword
yeah,
fight too,
she
which
gets
is
the badass thing happening. And then she's what? The reincarnation of
Imhotep, I think.
not Emotep, that's the priest. One of the women, I forget what the names are though, but
Evelyn Callaghan. Yep, that's right. I
yeah,
searched Evie Russell. Evie
yeah,
Russell. What We Do in the Shadows. She's an emotional energy vampire, and I was like,
yeah,
oh, that's the one I'm
yeah.
thinking of.
Yeah, she was, gosh, I forget, were they sisters or something? And I don't remember. But the two women, I don't remember what the names of the characters were, but
Yeah, I can't remember off the top of my head.
one was like Imhotep's. She was like, was she like the pharaoh's wife, but she was having an affair with Imhotep or whatever, and that's why she got, anyway, the bad things happened to her and him.
Evie from Mummy was the reincarnation of.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
Oh, it was Nefertiti. Okay, I almost said
Yeah.
Nefertiti.
Okay.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
Um, that makes sense. Hey, thank you, Stanley's.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The good, the bad, and the ugly with Catherine. What would you say is the best Catherine appearance? What would you say is the one that makes the least amount of sense or is just a bit funky? And what is the one that just makes you go, huh? Or maybe there's not an ugly, which would be, or not a bad, which would be good.
We're best Catherine of like everything. Hmm.
Like your favorite, not necessarily Catherine, but like the episode or project or the best Catherine appearance, in your opinion.
Well, I know I've said the movie Catherine is my favorite, but I think Torment of Tantalus is the one where we get the most about her.
Mm-hmm.
We get more of, kind of what's a glimpse of what her younger life was, how she kind of thinks, her and Daniel's relationship. You get it more depth to that. I think that's her best episode, and we get to see, and the cute little love story thing and stuff too, but and how she just kind of rolls with it all and is like, but I mean, she obviously has been a part of this for a long time, so it's not like completely foreign to her, but I thought it was
It's
kind of
still
funny that
like
she had
new.
never traveled through the gate before, which was kind of interesting.
I love it.
Yeah.
I mean, we know
But
she's going to suggest it when they're sitting in that boardroom meeting.
yeah, yeah,
But the second she goes, and I'm going with you, you're like,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
oh, that's mom telling me I don't have an option. She's coming with us.
Right.
We have a chaperone,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's Catherine Langford this time.
I think it's funny how like just Hammond's like no way, and Jack kind of gets pissed off at Daniel like you just have to take it there, don't you? You just
Extra
can't
step.
the extra stuff. But then how they're like, well, they might have weapons. Well, this might prove this. And what was Samantha's thing of why they wanted to go there? I forget. Sam came in with an explanation of
Wasn't
why
it
they
some?
should go there too.
It
I forget
was
what it
to
was.
study something astrophysics wise, I think.
Yeah. Because it was like, because it wasn't on the Gould didn't have it on their
Yeah.
charts. That's what it was. So we should check out why don't it's been where because she's the one that's like, okay, if the Gould have never been here, then that shows that they didn't build the gates, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And then Teal'c's like, they
Gould or
have
scavenger.
weapons and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, okay. That's how they convince Hammond to be like, okay, we'll do it.
And then him at the end is just like,
Yeah.
you had me from the start.
Yeah.
Thanks for all the extra stuff, but I was going to let you go.
Yeah. Yeah.
I do. It's such a great Hammond moment as well because Catherine's being mom in this situation.
Yep.
They're not the same parents, but Hammond's being dad in the situation where.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, I've got to scold you a little bit because you didn't ask first, but you were right to ask forgiveness rather than permission. You're just go, just do it, just do it.
Yeah, sure. Yep.
It's a great little characterization for all of them, Would you have a bad and ugly out of there?
I don't know if there's really like I hate to say origins, but I don't know if it's really bad. It just seems a little, I don't know if they portrayed her as a person the greatest. I think I get what they were trying to do, but I don't think they really necessarily successfully pulled it off.
Yeah. I'm with you.
I don't know if I like that version of Catherine. I don't hate that version of Catherine. I'm just, like I said, I just think it feels like it needed to cook a little more or something,
Yeah. Marinate in some seasoning before tossing in that oven. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm with you. Because I would say the good is also the Torment of Tantalus. I think that's my favorite Catherine, specifically that episode that we ever get. I just think
it is.
It follows the story that she had from the film. It introduces a new story. We get fulfillment of that story and the possibility of what's more for them going forward. And it's that is a full circle to me that is sweet and almost necessary for the character. It is a better show because it had that episode, which I like that a lot.
Yeah, I think it was worth exploring that.
Where even 1969 or the alternate universe, I don't think it's necessarily a better show because those episodes are there. Even though I love the episodes and there's a lot of cool stuff in them, it is a better show because of Torment of Tantalus. And I think that's what kind of
that's true.
Keeps me on board for that one, Naturally, I want to say the bad is Stargate Origins and the ugly is Stargate Origins Catherine instead because it just kind of like does a little bit better version.
Yeah.
But I kind of want to say I think that would be what I actually want to say. The controversial version of what I would say would be the ugly might even be the original Stargate movie version of Catherine, because she's literally just a plot device. There's nothing besides there's nothing to hold on to. You're like, all right, you're in the first 10 minutes of this movie, and it looks like you're going to have a big role, and it's going to be important. And we never see you again. So that may end up being just ugly just for a little bit and never watch NCIS. But the bad, technically, I guess, just ends up being Origins. Just because, like you said, it didn't have time to marinate. It didn't have time to sit with itself before it came out and say, okay, is this right? Is this wrong? Can we reshoot this a little bit? It was very much, we need the rights for this to stay at MGM. Give it out. And that's what we got, you know? Do you have something that might fit as an ugly, or you think it's just like Origins in different realms?
Just the Origins thing. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I get what you're saying about the movie. I guess I just like...
I still love it.
The aura the movie Catherine has. You know, I don't know if they necessarily did the best for the character. But
her aura is better than Catherine's aura. I guess whenever you get into SG-1, Catherine's aura is more like, they kicked me off the project and I've been gone for 5 years. And I guess that's kind of where we pick up with her. Where movie Catherine's like, General West is over there, but I'm in charge. You know, she's like, this is my program. We're doing this. Yeah. And she doesn't have that capability any longer by the time we see SG-1.
Yeah, because they just say she was forced to retire. Like, why would you force her to retire? Like, what would be the point?
I think it makes perfect sense, honestly. At the end of, if we would have gotten an extra scene in Stargate, it would have been nice to have seen probably 2 extra scenes in Stargate. The movie would have been really nice. Make it back to Earth. O'Neill goes in there and is talking to West and talking to Langford. And in that moment, O'Neill suggests to General West, because that's the movie general in there, that, hey, there are enemies beyond anything we are capable of defending ourselves against out there right now.
Right.
This is not a program that we need to just be going at willy-nilly. Leave it be. Right. And that suggestion would be kind of like, hey, we had one guy decide to stay. He chose to stay. That's not on us. We cannot go back to those gates. And then I could see the military kind of saying, all right, Catherine, we're shutting it down and there's nothing you can do about it at that point.
Right. Yeah, I guess if they shut it down, then what would be the point of her? I'd kind of forgotten.
That makes sense.
Episode 1, Sarah, they're sitting there with the tarp over the gate, you know.
Because if that one moment would have made a lot of sense, and then, of course, the moment that you would add after that is, well, we have one guy left on the planet, and, well, he chose to stay there, and that's his fault, and we need to close the Stargate program down, you know, so on and so forth. Right. And then you do your little fade or transition into Abydos and see what's his wife's name? Dr. Daniel Jackson.
Sheree.
And Sheree. Oh, yeah. If you see just both of them like sitting on a dune looking over Abydos with the 3 moons in the background and over a pyramid, and you have a beautiful shot just to end it on, something like that, you know? That would have been really nice just to lead into the series. Obviously, they weren't planning that.
Right, yeah.
But it would have been a more complete circle, too, rather than just, I'm going to stay. Y'all going through that gate? See ya. And then there goes the movie's over.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because they had to basically pretend like they did destroy the gate and stuff, right? But they destroyed Ra's ship by sending the nuke up into the ship, but they didn't, because they came back and basically O'Neill said, yeah, Daniel's dead and everything is destroyed, right? But that's not, obviously we know that's not what happened, but yeah. Maybe they wouldn't let Daniel stay. They would have retrieved him whether he wanted it or not, maybe if they knew. Anyway, doesn't matter.
Yeah. It's one of those hindsight's 2020 things, and I guess that's with all big old TV shows like that, especially back in the 90s and stuff. They're not I'm sure they have a multiple seasons planned out to some degree, of course, but it's not very. It's not the same television making world that we're in now, where all right, every 3 seasons you have to pay your actors this much more and this much more, which is making shows shorten this much more.
Oh, didn't they have they were contracted out for like 4 seasons by the end of season 2 or something, weren't they? So
SG1?
Yeah.
Oh,
I think they got picked up for like a second season while they were filming the pilot, and then I think very shortly after that it got picked up for like 4. Yeah, they were contracted for 4 seasons, like almost like right away.
Well, some of that is it makes sense because Stargate was. I love to bring it back up and re-mention it. For a brief period of time before Jurassic Park came out, was the highest grossing film of all time for a bit there.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I loved the movie when I saw it. I really enjoyed it. I mean, Daniel is my favorite character from the movie. You know, just James Spader does a great job with it.
So
and
good.
I just loved the whole it was just a really interesting concept of like, oh, there's this thing that makes wormholes that you can travel around the universe. That was just a really just such a cool idea. And I love the whole effect of like they weren't called the Jaffa in the movie, but where they had those helmets that folded down. I just thought that was a really cool effect at the time.
I wish they hadn't have killed off Djimon Hounsou there, but I guess they had to kill off all the Jaffa for Raw anyway. And Kurt Russell, of course.
Oh yeah, he is great.
Of course, and James Spader. Spader's my favorite out of all of them, but Kurt Russell, you can't not love Kurt Russell. He's just he's so good in every damn thing he does. It's perfect.
Yeah.
I had a thought, and now it just flew out my ear. I had a thought about the film for a second, and it just disappeared. I don't know. I'll think about it in a second. David did just say, though, to be honest, I don't even remember the episodes of Catherine when she's in her 40s. What do you mean?
It's just 1969. That's it.
Yeah, 1969, or the flashback from Tantalus.
Oh yeah, but she was like in her 20s in the Tantalus flashback. Because she said she was 21 or whatever, or they didn't have a need for a 21-year-old girl. So I just assumed she was right, around that age.
Which one, David? Don't remember 69 or the Torment of Tantalus? Or, it's just been a little while. It's like, oh yeah, that's in there.
Yeah.
Because that was kind of what a couple of these were. It's like, oh yeah, this episode, it's not like a pivotal part of the episode, but she's here and we're running with it. The one Catherine that we haven't talked a whole bunch about.
Sorry if you're my dog going ballistic. I don't know what's going on. Anyway.
He's found the 7th version of Catherine Langford. And she's appeared in y'all's kitchen like was it Oren did in Sam's? Watch out.
Oh yeah, we didn't we say that was like the worst episode of that season?
It was, yeah.
Because it's very creepy.
Do you know what would have been a huge missed opportunity? This would have actually been amazing, and it is a missed opportunity. It was really nice, of course, to see Daniel as the first person we see ascend.
Yeah.
But Catherine and Ernest ascending?
That would have been great. Yeah. That would have been really good.
Perfect.
Oh, yeah.
Because Ernest almost would have helped Catherine get to that. Once Catherine understands that these things are out there, bring her back, talk to Daniel a little bit. Daniel could almost help ease her in the path of, hey, this is what I've learned so far. Could you help me just learn a little bit about this? Do you have any other knowledge that you, just from your years of wealth of wisdom, can you provide a different perspective here? Something like that, which she, of course, would take and read and be excited about. She's an archaeologist, It's what she's based her entire life on. She would not be not completely absorbed with something like that. And I doubt Ernest wouldn't be either. Ernest has spent 50
having
years
spent all those years alone,
staring at programs.
Got in touch with spirituality or whatever,
Yeah, and that spirituality is like such a basic part of. I love how the language they find, that universal language, is just the different almost isotopes. Elements. There we go.
Periodic table kind of stuff. That there's more elements there than what we know of and stuff. That's cool.
I love the line when Catherine says, "There's only 111 elements. There's 144 here," and Ernest behind her goes, "Only 90 last time I checked."
Yeah.
It's like, oh, it's been a while. That's a good point.
How many elements are on the periodic table?
I think it's like 113. I think there have been a couple more added.
Right. Isn't there there's spaces for where they think elements could exist?
Oh wow, 118.
Okay.
But I'm sure they've left some stuff open because I don't know how the periodic table changes as they add new things.
Yeah.
Don't like that idea too much of a happy ending for me. Would you not want to see a happy ending for Catherine and Ernest?
Yeah, that would be...
What? David, that's so cynical.
And then if you brought the child into it too later on, that would be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I think not only would it have been a happy ending, but it would have informed where the story went, which I think is great.
Right, that they get to go on forever somewhere.
Well, Ernest would have made sense to be very spiritual because all he's been inside of his head and kind of only learning how to sit with himself. He's been doing a lot of meditation for a long time.
And craziness. And believing Catherine was with him. But I think that was just, I was going to say to maintain sanity, but I don't know. Maybe he would have gone completely crazy if he hadn't created her. I don't know,
It is so funny though.
Who knows? And he was eating these fungus mushroom things. So who knows what that was doing?
He's just been tripping balls for 60 years or 50 years.
Yeah.
He's like, I am not sure if these things on the ceiling are real or not.
Exactly.
Oh. Yeah, I understand. I guess, David, it might be a little cheesy, but it would have informed the story as well. And as fun as it was to see Oma Desala go in a fight against Anubis for all time.
Right.
Imagine that was Catherine. That would have felt better for the overall story and kind of given...
Yeah, if she could have taken that role. That would have been interesting.
And it would have allowed Oma Desala to keep her fight, not her actual fight, but she could have kept fighting for just the ancients to acknowledge what they're doing is not necessarily right or wrong. Yeah. It's just helping.
She would hold Daniel's same position, and in convincing them that just non-interference is not the way to go.
Because it would have been interesting, and I think that would have been a lot of fun. I don't know if it would have been as fun as this, but that would have been also insane to witness. Y'all know how much I love the Unis. I want them back so bad. They're the only species that we get to keep seeing over and over.
Right. They're in about 3 or 4 episodes?
3 or 4.
Yeah. And how Daniel develops a relationship with Chaka? Is that his name? Yeah.
Chaka.
It's great.
It always makes me think of The Land Before Time with Will Ferrell and Danny McBride, the newer one with Chaka.
I haven't seen it.
It's so dumb and it's so great. It's not a good movie, and it's the best movie ever. It's one of those. But anything Will Ferrell and Danny McBride put together is always just please. Danny McBride, anything and everything, and you just put Will Ferrell alongside him and comedic wonderfulness.
Right.
And then you dress somebody up in a prehistoric ape suit and have them be semi-human and name them Shaka, and you got me. I'm in.
Yeah.
That's. I will give you all the dollars I have to go see that. Apparently, Stargate. You heard it here. You know what we need. You know what we need.
Crossover
With the Land, not the Land Before Time. That's what movie did I just say? Land of the Lost. There we go. I was like, what?
Was that a television series?
Land of the Lost?
Yeah.
Way back when, yeah. And then they.
I don't think I ever watched that.
I never watched the old version of it.
Yeah.
The Land Before Time was also a set of films and such. Would you have known of those at all?
Are those the cartoon dinosaur movies?
Yes. I was about to say you probably showed some to your daughter.
I've seen. I mean, I think maybe I saw the first one, but yeah, it would have been like my kids. But I mean, I'm aware of kind of what it is. I haven't.
Yeah. Okay.
Into it,
I grew up watching those and loved them. There's. Oh, I'll tell the story after the air. But yeah. The thing I completely distracted myself just by jumping off all these different little tangents, the Land of the Lost and such. The one thing that we haven't really talked about Catherine wise that I think is worth talking about just a little bit before we head out of here is alternate reality Catherine.
I like her. I
really like alternate reality Catherine. If we had more time sitting with her, she might even take out Torment of Tantalus Catherine from my top Catherine.
Yeah.
You know?
They could have given her a few more scenes, I think, in that episode, but she's definitely, like battle Catherine, I mean, I like that episode, how we just kind of jump in that world and we kind of learn things almost at the same time that Daniel's learning them, and how he's all freaking out about, why don't you know who I am and all this stuff. But yeah, I like that Catherine feels a connection to him right away. And, she believes him and, pushes.
The second he mentions Ernest.
Yeah. She gets that look on her face, but we don't really know, like, what is Ernest in that world to her?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Is it still like he's dead or what? Anyway, we don't find out, but, yeah, it's just kind of interesting how she's kind of that presence there, kind of like, hey, I think you need to listen to what this guy's saying. And I don't know, does she help with convincing them to sacrifice themselves too when Daniel's plan? Yeah, so
she does that, and then right after she I guess she doesn't convince Sam. I guess she almost kind of helps convince Jack some, and that's when Jack goes and talks to Teal'c. He's like, all I got to do is buy some time, and it works. It somehow works. Teal'c is someone that you can get through to if you talk to him reasonably. And then he had to mention saving your home world and your planet right after they sent a nuclear bomb right through there. There's no one left to save.
Yeah, that was kind of a mistake. Yeah.
Dual cannon.
Staff cannon, I guess that's what you
I guess so. I do appreciate that. Obviously, a show now would let you sit with the weight of maybe watching O'Neill explode after something like that. But I do appreciate that they have that same weight without making you need to watch something, that brutal. You know what happened. You know what happened. There's nothing left for the imagination.
No, I mean, and Sam like grenading herself is pretty badass too.
I'm taking y'all with me.
Yeah.
And then all you see is the shrapnel come down the stairs while Catherine's like, go through the gate, Daniel, go through the gate. I'm staying here. And Daniel's like, no, come with me. And she's like, go through the damn gate, and just goes right back to it.
Yep. Yeah, and there's that look he kind of gives her right before he has to go, and and that scene where the Jaffa come in and surround her, and then the like, what do you call it, the blast door comes down or whatever, and you don't see what happens. That was pretty cool. Yeah,
that was awesome. The two things in that episode that make me roll my eyes just a tad. One is Daniel suggests Catherine and maybe even the team come back to his Earth with him.
Right.
That would have been cool to see, but not only that, because I don't think that necessarily would have made a whole bunch of sense. They end up doing plenty of clones, timeline changes, whatever, all that, yada yada, down and throughout Stargate.
Yep.
What was disappointing to me from there is it seemed like a backdoor way of re-involving Catherine in the series.
Oh, yeah.
And they don't do anything with it.
Right.
It was kind of a way to say Catherine works really well right here.
Yeah.
She would be cool. Even if we didn't have her in like every episode, she'd be cool to have back within not just
right, even like
picking up with her, but with the main cast. Nothing with it. The other thing that does make me legitimately roll my eyes, though, is because they do it in 1969. Because when they jump through the gate at the end of 1969 to get back to the right time period, I guess before they're going to Cassie, because Cassie sends them back to the right time period. So before they get to Cassie, they're running, and they go through just a few seconds early to the Stargate, and they're getting shot at. And as Jack jumps through, the bullets come through, and you're like, duck, 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 get down, get down. This is after in the alternate universe one where we have Catherine there. Obviously, she sacrifices herself. Sam sacrifices. Jack sacrifices. So on and so forth. Teal'c is in the room, and he's going to go after Daniel Jackson, or realizing, oh, maybe I didn't have the time to, so on and so forth.
Right.
He knows the bomb's about to go off. The Stargate's still open.
Oh, why didn't Teal'c jump through?
Well, first,
why didn't Teal'c jump through? Just shoot him, but yeah.
Second, why didn't he shoot him? Third, does the atomic blast also not go through the Stargate?
Because I guess the Stargate cut off the second Daniel jumped through.
It stays open for like a solid 3, 4, 5 seconds.
I guess maybe the bombs didn't go off quite yet because there was a couple seconds after.
We watched Teal'c go up in that flash of white from the gate room, too.
Right. I guess we don't know for sure if the gate was still open at that moment.
From what they showed us, it was.
Okay.
So that was what made me kind of have a big eye roll right there. It was like, y'all, you're breaking your own rule this early.
Yeah. It would have been neat. I mean, I suppose they didn't have the funds to create the special effect, but isn't it like, if you blow up Naquadah, isn't it like increase the power, and isn't the gate made of Naquadah? So it would have been neat to see just a really, I mean, that would have been a seriously devastating blast. But anyway, it would have been neat too to what does happen to that? Is that world totally destroyed? Is it being run by the Goa'uld now?
Oh, it has.
Is there a war, a resistance war? It'd be interesting to see what is happening on that world, because those people all sacrificed themselves, but was the whole of that version of Earth destroyed?
Because by the time we go down to Cheyenne Mountain, they say it's 1.5 billion people that have already been killed.
Right. So I don't know if the Goa'uld just.
I seriously doubt they killed all of Earth.
But yeah.
There's too much usefulness they could get out of the people of Earth for them to take out Earth.
I got to step away for a second. I'll be right back.
Yeah, no worries. Chaplo, hope you are well. I think we are doing well as well. Yeah, y'all. Anything else that y'all want to talk about Catherine-wise before we hop out of here? We're about an hour and a half into this puppy. It's about to be noontime over on the West Coast. That's usually when we kind of start to wrap things up. But we got a couple more minutes if y'all want to discuss any more Catherine. I wish we would have gotten more of Catherine. You know, she's a great character. Kind of one of the most subtly cool characters there are in, I guess there is in Stargate. Would y'all have preferred kind of a Laura Croft approach to Catherine, or are y'all happy with the more academic kind of page that she's kind of been written on? You know, she's kind of like that Evie Callaghan, or Callahan, however you actually say that last name. That just strictly remains academic. The least academic things we see her do are in the alternate universe episode and in the Torment of Tantalus, when she actually goes to another planet, but also in search of love and academia. No, leave her as she is. I agree. I like where she's at. It would have been fun to have seen a little bit more of avenues taken to explore the character, but she's awesome as she is, and she stands the test of time for a reason, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Anything else specifically, Catherine, that we need to hit? Because I just thought that alternate universe Catherine was awesome, and it totally, to me, felt like not a backdoor pilot, but a backdoor reasoning to bring Catherine back into the main SG-1 series.
Yeah, they could have done that. I suppose they just, maybe the actress didn't want to do it or couldn't do it, or they didn't want to add another character, you know. But it would have been neat to have her drop in as a consultant or something once in a while, or maybe somehow Daniel would need her help to decipher something, or or she had an artifact, like Daniel remembered an artifact that she had that would help them, or something, you know, something like that.
I did just have two thoughts come to mind. One was it would have been awesome for her to have met in Asgard. Second was, I love the names we have for all of the ships, but why the hell is there not a Langford?
Oh yeah, there should be.
Or the Catherine or something like that.
Right.
That should have been the first ship.
Add that in for the next time.
Yeah. It would have made far more sense. Apophis attacked Earth with two motherships, so blowing up one with the SGC self-destruct would be a blow, but the other may press on with conquering Earth, as the tech advantage may be too great at the time. It seems like it probably was.
Yeah.
They obviously had the Stargate program up and running. Just hadn't had found Tilk. In that sense, they didn't have the probably relationships with the different alien species they have across the galaxy in our timeline.
Right. There we go.
That would have been something. That would have been something. But yeah, I feel like the tech advantage may have been too great at the time. They probably had some kind of something that could fight against. I bet you they had staff weapons and Zat guns, but I don't know if that's going to do too much against their motherships, you know? Talking about the Zat Nicotel, we do get to see like one of the final times it is totally utilized with the
third zap, it disappears. Yeah.
Speaking of, you can see that for like one of the last times.
Yeah, that was convenient. You know, like,
was.
we'll just destroy all the evidence of our future tech or whatever. Yeah.
Because I was watching it with my friends who had never really seen it before. And I tried to explain the concept of it. I did explain the concept. It's not a hard concept to explain. But one of my buddies, whenever I was explaining it, said, why'd they stop that? That would have been so interesting. And I was like, it's a little overpowered. Everybody kind of has it in the galaxy. It was a little bit too much, you know? And he said,
well, there's questions about how that works exactly too. Like, how, is it like if you get hit by it twice, is it like if you got zapped like a third time 10 years from now, would you disappear?
Yeah.
Or like a time limit, It's like
It's just screwy kind of
yeah.
rules for it, which is the
Yeah.
hard part.
It was just a convenience they came up with, and I think they didn't think it through totally.
That's how I tried to explain it, just as a convenience. And
Yeah.
he's like, but it is so cool. Just the more I think about it, it's
is
like
cool, but it would have
it's
been better if
pretty
it
cool.
was just a weapon that, like, it wasn't like you did it through. It had like settings rather than it was the amount of times.
Yes, that
You
would have
know?
made more sense.
Yeah.
Even like
Mhm.
just for a Star Wars reference, who. But like lightsabers, they're not all the same. They don't. You can differentiate how hot it's burning at. You can differentiate how long the length is of your kyber crystal sword. All
Right.
these different things.
Right.
Obviously, not like to that degree, but just have
Mhm.
a little bit of a setting, like you said,
Mhm.
would have been nice. Because
Mhm.
one thing my buddy brought up was that would have been really cool to have seen on something that wasn't on if the Zat gun, which is how I described it to him,
Mhm.
was on every Jaffa. He was like, okay, that's overpowered because then literally everybody's got one. The bad guys could take over anything and everything. Like, hey, there's a
Yeah.
wall in my way. Here's the wall. It's gone now. I'm coming to get you.
Mhm.
So on and so forth.
Right. Yeah.
Where
That
if
too.
that gun were to be more rare and maybe only the first primes had one or something like that,
Mhm.
that
Right.
could have worked and been really cool.
Mhm.
But alas.
Yeah, it just doesn't really work in the big picture.
It was fun just to see that with Hammond. That is that the last episode that we see that in,
The Zat gun? I don't think so.
or like the third shot.
Oh, I really couldn't tell you.
I'm googling real quick.
No, we don't. The Zat gun kind of goes away. I mean, it pops up now and again. Um, I just remember, I don't remember what season it was, but when the team is going undercover to take out, what was it? That underground organization that was being controlled by the Gould or whatever. I forget what it was called. The organization, the something.
The NID.
Yeah, but they weren't the NID. It was like this. The Gould had infiltrated it, and there was like a
The Trust.
episode. The Trust. That's
Yes.
what it was.
Okay.
Wasn't there an episode where like they went into this trust facility or something, and Daniel used that to like zap a bunch of people? Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But,
Well, because they totally use Zats throughout
Yeah.
the rest of the series, almost more increasingly. And then
Yeah, they just kind of forgot about the third zap disappear part. They
pick
just
up that rug, put it under, and then
Yeah.
put the rug back down.
Yeah, exactly. Let's just forget about that.
It's like, well,
Don't worry about that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, if everyone disappeared when shot on the third effort, people would just keep wiping people out and saying, "Where's Bob? Don't know. Haven't seen him. No murders or evidence." Exactly. It would have been
Yeah,
terrible.
it just was a little.
Isn't as we said,
They're
the trust
kind of
NID,
related, I think, but
there's
it was
one other,
like,
isn't there?
Hmm?
Isn't there one other?
I don't remember. I don't think so.
Isn't there one?
Was there like a
between
rogue?
the two?
The rogue NID? Was there like a rogue NID and then the NID?
Yeah, but I feel like there's one other like program like that.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Because the NID isn't what becomes the people that end up leading Atlantis and all that, right? Because that's the better program is what ends up being that, right? And it's not like the OA or
IOA or what was it?
IOA, the IOA, right?
IOA, right? Or whatever it was. Woolsey. But I always think when I think of that organization, Woolsey is like what always comes to mind. Like
International Oversight Advisory. Yep.
Okay.
I was like, I swear there's another one.
Yeah.
I know there's another one. I'm going crazy, but I know there's another one.
And then I thought we were thinking about that group in Universe that brainwashed Telford.
Lucien Alliance.
Yeah, Lucien Alliance.
There we go.
Mm-hmm.
It's such a rich world. I love it so much. Like, oh, if only they would have just thought about the threads they had and just.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. Universe.
If those were there,
so
it would. Do you think if they would have thought about all the threads they laid out, do you think Atlantis would have gone on a little bit further? Do you think the universe might have gone on a little bit further? But most importantly, do you think it would have been larger in the public eye at the time, even though it was a pretty large show at the time, of course?
Right.
Do you think that those threads to hang on to, like a Star Trek or Star Wars had, would really like succinct it as that third head of sci-fi, that trinity of it?
Possibly. I think there's a good chance of that. Yeah. I mean, just, you just want, I mean, you get like why in the real world, MGM was imploding or whatever was going on financially there. So they had to just like quit everything. But I was thinking about, I was looking at Stargate stuff and there were some pictures, like behind the scene pictures of Universe, which just got me thinking about that show and just how they were really starting to set up some really interesting things. Like we just, anyway.
After rewatching it like we did a little while ago,
yeah,
season one's a slog to get through. I will give everybody that. It has.
I mean, there's a lot of setup that you kind of need, but it's not exciting.
The concepts are phenomenal.
Yeah.
But it's set up where season 2 gives us something to actually hold on to, and that what we get to hold on to is amazing. Season 2 is great.
Yeah, I just love the whole that like alternate versions traveled into the past, and now this galaxy is filled with humans that are all descendants of them. I mean, that's just like such a cool idea.
That the just the implications it has for the galaxy at large. Like, is this how the ancients spread humanity through the through the galaxy? Did they just do it through the Stargates like we think, or was there a time before that and maybe the ancients like, from the way, I wouldn't be surprised if, and I don't know if this would decanonize things or recanonize in other, I guess, ways, but and David, 1,000%, anything LDP, baby, all day. Lou Diamond Phillips,
he's great.
He's had me since Young Guns and Young Guns 2 with Chavez. Just anything he does, I'm in. And La Bamba. What's the one with Edward James Olmos? And Lou Diamond Phillips plays one of his math students. All of them, so good. Anyway, oh God,
he was in that like wasn't there like a A&E show he did not too long ago? I forget what it's called.
Longmire. He was on Longmire, wasn't he?
I think so. I think that's what was the show. I'm not sure of the name. Anyway, doesn't matter.
Just making sure. Yeah, okay. He was in there for the entirety of Longmire. I was like, am I misremembering that?
Yeah.
No, okay.
Is that like the last thing he really did? I think he's done maybe a movie or two or something. But anyway.
Yeah, I think he's done smaller things.
I know he just put out a book because Dial the Gate interviewed him, did a episode with him not too long ago, and it was he was promoting a book, a kid's book, I think, or something. Yeah.
It's I believe it's not like young adult, but it's young adult to adult. I don't know the correct terminology there.
Yeah.
Bartender in Longmire. That's right. It's his book is called Indira or something like that. I can't remember it off the top of my head. I wish that Atlanta or what are you trying to say, Scott? God, what was I going off before you got me distracted?
Lou Diamond Phillips' book, but it's not important. But we were just talking about it.
Well, no. Before I started talking about Lou Diamond Phillips,
Universe.
Yeah, it was something.
Just
in the ancients seating the
the ancients like.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
You wish Stargate Atlantis would continue.
Yeah.
I'm with you. That makes sense.
Yeah, and I think they wanted to, but yeah.
If only. If only. The thing I was thinking of though is if the ancients did seed the galaxy, I don't know a better way of saying that. They just seeded the galaxy with humanity.
Yeah, or the planet builders or whatever.
Yeah, it would be interesting if they did it the way the planet builders utilized humanity on the other side of the universe, I guess is the easier way to say that. Because also the Stargates spreading humanity through the Stargates makes total sense as well.
Yeah.
It would almost be cool if everything we knew was a little bit backwards and Earth was almost like a mecca for the ancients. And they're right. From all these other planets, and this was like the planet that was supposed to be the most habitable, the most different throughout its entire ecosystems and atmosphere. It was the most diverse planet to introduce humanity on, to maybe spread throughout the stars because it has the different deserts, snow tundras, so on and so forth. I don't know. That'd be just an interesting thread to tug at as well. Scott asked, wasn't season 6 already in production but canceled? Yep. Yes, it was. And if it wasn't going to be that, they had a TV movie they were willing to do as well.
Yeah, there was supposed to be a third movie, like after Continuum, that I think was going to pull Atlantis in.
Yeah, it was going to be an Atlantis.
Tie everything together or something. Yeah.
And it never came to fruition, sadly.
Yeah. And here we are, still waiting.
Yeah.
But we got Origins, we got Origins, I guess. That was it.
Yeah. Oh, don't forget Infinity. I can't.
That was during the show. So
yeah, that was way before.
Yeah.
How far did they get? What do you mean? They got to season 5 and they never filmed it. If that's what you're asking.
I think they were like working on like pre-production maybe or something. I don't think they actually filmed anything.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they have what it would have been online, I guess, through interviews and such.
Yeah.
Something like that. But honestly, I think that might be it for Catherine Langford. Yeah. Is there anything else we can think of that we need to talk about for old Miss Catherine?
No, I think we covered it pretty well. I mean, I really like the character. Wish we could have got to see more of her. I liked her and Daniel's relationship. That we find out later on that she saw Daniel as like a son. You know, it would have been interesting to see more of that relationship. Too bad we didn't get that, but it's all right.
It almost implies that Daniel was visiting her.
Oh yeah, I think they do imply that throughout the show. It seemed.
Pretty heavy.
Maybe I'm wrong, but I just had that feeling that like he mentions her a few times, throughout the show.
Yeah. Yeah, I wish. It is, I guess, kind of the only way to say it. I do wish Stargate gave Catherine Langford the respect that she was deserved. I think they touch on that in the show that they don't. They just don't give a good reason why they don't.
Right. I guess it just never became a priority to tell that story or to complete that loop or whatever, however you want to put it.
Yeah, and I guess getting some old people in your story about cool, actionable sci-fi isn't necessarily
exciting.
Sexy,
like I said, things were much more things are much more character driven now than they were at the time.
Yeah, now we get Patty Considine and House of Dragon falling apart throughout an entire season, just one step and sitting on a throne, getting older and aging more, and you get to see that brutal process. I don't think Catherine's process would have been brutal, but I had an alarm go off on my phone for a second. I was like, what's going on? But yeah, I don't think Catherine would have aged brutally by any means, but it would have been fun to witness the wisdom that she brought to the series.
Right. Or could have been cool maybe to have like a deathbed scene with her and Daniel.
Yeah. And that would have been cool if she would have ascended there.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't have to make 100% sense either.
No.
She could have been going on this, particularly once she figures out that the Stargate is still the whole program is alive and kicking.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming Daniel's probably telling her a little bit about stuff. He probably can't tell her everything, of course, but he's gonna mention ancients. He's gonna ask for help and stuff.
Right.
And
or they have the kind of relationship where he can tell her everything. She's not gonna tell anybody,
No, I'm assuming he'd probably talk to her about his grandpa and what happened there.
Right. Another character would have been interesting to come. I mean, his grandfather went off to be with those, whatever they were, those other aliens. Would have been nice to have a touchback to that. Would have been nice too, but whatever.
Yeah, I do like the idea that those could be a version of the Planet Builders or something like that.
Oh yeah, we've talked about that before. That should be like, that would have been cool. Yeah, it would kind of make sense too.
Totally, and it would be one of those threads that could still be picked up and done and utilized well.
Right. Yeah. Catherine is a Tok'ra. That's a good idea. Too.
Who was that? Stanley's could have made Catherine a Tok'ra, as when Jacob was joined, then mentioned Earth people with terminal illnesses. They could have given second chances too.
Right. Didn't they show that they did that though, right? They didn't really follow up on it, but didn't they get a bunch of people to become Tok'ras? I don't know. Maybe I'm remembering. I thought they did. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know why I'm like remembering that.
Anyway, I feel like there was an episode
like the idea anyway.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Then they're literally just supplying the ranks to an alliance force.
Right. Yeah.
That they don't fully trust either, which would technically be
because their queen dies or whatever, right? So they don't have any more of them. So they're just kind of dying out because they don't have.
Oh, the queen was named like Aegia or something like that, right?
Yeah, I don't remember. Yeah, because they were using her to make Tritonin or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I think. Yeah.
Yeah, because that's what I was trying to remember right then are they helping the Tok'ra a whole bunch, or are they doing the Tritonin, and are they offering the Tritonin to? They can't offer the Tritonin to the Tok'ra because it's only a Jaffa kind of medicine.
Right.
That's interesting. I bring back Stargate and let us just know things. Like,
there's so many. I know. In starting this, I've started my rewatch, kind of stopped it to follow up with doing these kind of things or whatever. But yeah, it's like you forget like how much is in there, like how many little storylines there are in there that could be explored and gone back to or finished or whatever. Just there's room for so much more, just totally brand new things, not even going back to what has been.
In a huge way.
Mm-hmm.
The two things that what could have been that always just make me roll my eyes. We already mentioned one was I want an Unis rebellion too. Like I want the Unis to be fighting. Yeah. I want them to be fighting not just against the Gua'uld, but for a place in the galaxy for themselves.
Right.
And then.
But they had like a slave revolt or something that Chaco was leading or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They'd be like, all right, Gua'uld people, no matter who, the Unis or the Unis, like let's fight for the Unis a little bit. The Ritu were the other one. We see the Ritu, all right, it's the Ritu, right? The ones that the names always throw me off. Or is it the Ritu or like the Rakesh or something like that?
I think Ritu.
The ones that turn invisible that we see that turns into Tyler.
Right. Yeah, they're the ones that they make that clone boy. He's like a clone or something, right? But he
is an alien. They just look at him.
They made him look like but he ends up dying though, right? He's like a temporary,
But what we learn in there is that this species has an entire war against the Gua'uld going on right now. They are at war with the Gua'uld, same as Earth is.
Oh well, but we don't ever.
We imply that we now have an alliance with them,
right? But never follow up on it.
And where are they ever?
Like, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I understand CGI was expensive, still is.
Yes.
She introduced so many great great threads that just aren't picked up again. And like you just said, and like we mentioned earlier too, is just there are so many new great ones that are added onto it, which makes you forget about those. But when you start thinking about those, how much more could those have informed the story later? And you just had that much more of a rich story that you don't have to have all of them fighting against each other all the time. We don't need some big do against the Gould in season 7 or 8, 10, 20, whatever, you know. It's more just let those stories inform one another just a little bit more. Like they're there, but they're not there.
Yeah. But
that's my biggest holdback, I think, in all of Stargate is just they when they backtracked to make something make sense, it was perfect every time. Maybe not perfect, but as close to perfect every time as you can get.
Well, a lot to do just Brad Wright's writing ability, and putting that together is really good.
Oh, it's incredible. I wish there was more forethought. There's not a whole bunch of forethought in the series.
Yeah, which might just be a time thing, just
totally.
You're shooting 20 episodes a year or whatever, which is
and then at a certain point,
crazy by today's standards. Like to be able to make the level of show that they did, shooting that many, and why couldn't you do that now?
Yeah, you have that, and then you have Atlantis on top of it, which is 20 more episodes.
Right.
They're similar enough where you're like, okay, we want to do something that we've done here, but it needs to be different, it needs to be its own unique thing, but also, we were going to use that storyline next season, but Atlantis needs to use it now, and so on and so forth.
Then, just try to think of ways maybe you could even tie the two together, and that could be complicated.
Totally, and I feel for them. I do. I just wish that if same thing like with the Star Wars sequels, to bring another Star Wars reference into forethought could have changed so much, and I think forethought might have given us like 15 seasons of SG1, might have given us 10 seasons of SGA and 5 or 6 seasons of SGU, because if Stargate was holding MGM up by the bootstraps essentially at that time, which it was, it would have been nicer to have a reason. And I think if Stargate just had a little bit more of that through line and threads to pick up and would have been doing that, you almost give MGM, you don't let them have the availability to even cancel. At that point, it was declining enough where they were like, okay, we're just going to keep adding new threads. If we're only adding new threads now, we don't need to sit with what was old anymore. If we would have had those threads as a thorough line to keep tugging on throughout the decade and a half that was Stargate, I don't know if they would have ended it. I think that would have been the one or two things that MGM would have said, okay, yeah, this is our big moneymaker right now. We have to cancel it, though, because it costs more than anything else, too. And we want to do some other things, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
That would have almost given MGM a reason where they couldn't have canceled. If only that was the timeline we were on.
Yeah. Or if they would have tried harder to find, I don't know, sell the franchise or find some other way to finance it. And I mean, I guess Joe Flanagan did try to keep it going, but
that's what I don't understand is they didn't even find a way to work with somebody to license it out. Even if you're not going to make it yourselves, retain the product, but license it out elsewhere so it can continue.
I mean, weren't the ratings for Sci-Fi Channel good?
Yeah, I think it was like the largest they've ever been.
Universal owned it at the time. Was that when Universal took them? I don't know if they were part of Universal yet. I don't know. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But
well, with all of those rants, all of the thoughts, all of the moments of chaka and everything else that we've had, I think that's a pretty succinct thought process on the variations and the variables that Catherine bring into the series of Stargate as a whole.
What else would you guys like us to talk about with Stargate? Let us know.
I guess after this, the outposts that we have planned are more. If Stargate hadn't finished, would this channel exist? That's a good question. That's a good question.
It is.
It
might, but it'd be more just like I guess, just a fandom thing than like a.
Yeah, it would be very different.
Wishing for it to come back or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, Jamie may have started it 10 years beforehand, and who knows what it would have. I can't even speak. What it would have looked like then.
Yeah.
I would have just been a little kid. Who knows? Instead of watching Stargate over the pandemic, I might have grown up watching it in that case, or at that rate.
Yeah.
You might have caught Universe whenever it was airing, or
mm-hmm.
You caught Universe as it aired, right? Not the other two.
Universe is the first, because I was aware of Stargate, because I always loved the movie, and I was aware of it, but just like couldn't afford Showtime or whatever. I wasn't really aware of it even being a show on Showtime until like later on, because just not having it, just not aware of it. It wasn't like the internet was prevalent in the 90s, in the early 90s anyway. So like I didn't want to jump in, because I saw the promos and for it, once it was on Sci-Fi Channel, then I wanted to watch it. And I could just never seem to catch when the reruns would start over again.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to just jump in the middle. So Universe was like, oh, here's a show that's starting, a brand new show. I can watch it from episode 1. Of course, I think I quit watching it after season 1, or maybe the first couple episodes of season 2, because I heard it was canceled. So I just quit watching it.
SG1 or SBA? I mean,
SGU. I'm sorry.
Oh, SGU. Okay.
Yeah, I think I started watching the second season, then it was canceled right away. So I was like, oh, forget. I'm not going to invest in that if they've canceled it. But I mean, now that I've watched it all the way through, it's like it's worth a watch, even though it doesn't finish. I mean, I guess the hope is that somehow, some way, that storyline will get closed off, whether it's a miniseries, a TV movie, or what, an animated movie has been floated out there too. But yeah, I mean, we got to know about the planet builders and all these descendants of alternate SGU people. Like I want to know more about that galaxy and those drones. Do those drones become more of a threat, or do they solve that problem, or whatever?
Well, I understand the issues that I understand the issues that Stargate had at that time of. Mm-hmm. All right, well, we kind of have it. Like Jamie brings up all the time is, well, we have all the Asgard tech. We have all this stuff. Like, what can we not do? Turns out a lot in Stargate Universe. And I think there was so much more story to tell. And
yeah, they were just starting to scratch the surface on that. And they were starting to put a little bit of humor back into it. And it was starting, like, there was just little, like, it was starting to feel a little bit like SG-1 Atlantis, just in little tiny ways, but didn't get to.
I don't know if they needed it.
Yeah,
but one of the best moments and shots in all of season 2 or all of SGU, and essentially, is when they finally have that family dinner at the end of the show.
Oh, right before
when they all sit down. We needed moments like that beforehand, even if everybody's not 100% happy with one another.
Yep.
We have plenty of that in SGA. Ronan and McKay are fighting or Teal'c and Ronan are fighting at the lunch table or whatever it is.
Yeah, they have a lot of those little lunch table scenes.
We don't have really any of those in SGU besides that finality, which keeps the tension. Yeah. But you got to let that tension loose to remind people how important the tension is when it is there. And I don't think SGU did the greatest job of that, and that's probably why. Honestly, I don't think Stargate Origins Catherine did a very good job of that either. They didn't really build any tension. They forgot tension was a thing that they needed to have. It was more like, the Nazis are here, so it's tension. Oh, the evil ghouls are over here, so it's tension. And it's like, no, they do have a little bit of squabble, but I wouldn't call it.
Yeah, it wasn't. And I think they were maybe felt very constrained by what existed already.
Yeah.
And not wanting to. So that's why it's like, well, we'll just erase their memories at the end. That'll make it easy.
But do you know what Stargate show has more tension than any other Stargate show? It's just full of tension, full of emotion. It's the most rich writing I think that there's ever been in any Stargate product, maybe any show ever. Stargate Infinity. I'm kidding. That's the show. See y'all on Friday. Bye. I'm kidding. This. Oh no, Stargate Infinity was that was actually bad. Looking back at that, it helps inform everything else.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it was. I don't know if it was worth watching it, but I guess to be a completist and see everything that's Stargate.
I'm not upset that I watched it. I'm glad I watched it at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Was it technically a good use of time? that might be a different story.
Yeah, that might be, especially
podcast,
when you have tattooed characters talking about how it's bad to be tattooed.
I've got piercings, a shaved side of my head, and tattoos, but I would never get a tattoo because that's so bad, and kids shouldn't get tattoos either. I've just been showing off my tattoo all season, and make it make sense. Please make it make sense.
Yeah, it was a little bit heavy on this is the lesson of the week, children.
The only tattoos I want to see in Stargate are Jaffa forehead ones. Like
yeah. That's just where it's not even a tattoo, it's just molten gold poured into cuts in your forehead. Yeah. Because in Bane we get that story. In Bane he tells the story. Those kids. But anyway, doesn't matter.
It's like what? He's just talking to the kids on the street. He's like,
yeah,
sick tattoo, and he's like, it's not a tattoo.
Yeah. Well, I guess the other Jaffa have just the tattoos, though, right?
Yeah, it's the first primes that are tortured the most for some reason. Like, you should check out TikTok. Never. Okay, but there is someone who there's someone who looks like they're making a new Stargate game. Okay, maybe I'll check it out a little bit. You got me there. Send me a link, and we can figure that out. Because I'm not going to download the app if I'm being honest. I haven't yet, and I'm not going to today.
Timekeepers. I watched some of that stream you did on it and quit because it was like, this is terrible. It was so boring. It was you. It was just
well, there was nothing to do in it. Like the entire time, I felt the obligation to keep talking because I'm like, there's nothing interesting on the screen. But everything I'm going to say about it is just me being frustrated with it because now I feel the need to talk because there's nothing going on in the game. I'm like, ugh. Yeah. It was one of those damned if you do, damned if you don't moments. And I will not be picking up Stargate Timekeepers anytime soon because if you're going to give us Stargate games, make them worthwhile.
Yeah. Weren't they working on in the early teens, like a real game, but that got canceled or whatever?
Oh, Matt was talking about it a couple weeks back as well. I don't remember the title of it, but it sounded so cool.
Yeah. And it just got, I don't know. I guess they just didn't think people would be interested or something. Who knows?
Yeah. Honestly, if they were going to make a Stargate game, all the different I don't know how much the girls play video games like that, but every guy my age or younger at this point, or even older, we all play video games. It's all part of it, and the big popular ones now, which aren't necessarily my favorites, but I do enjoy at times. You got to be in the mood for. Are those it's Fortnite or Apex Predator or Call of Duty Warfare, whatever, all those different things where you just jump in, there's 100 other players with you, they're all across the globe, and get to the goal, be the last person standing, and so on and so forth.
Yeah. That's kind of cool. You can play, just you kind of forget like how we take that for granted. Just you can be
totally.
playing with people from all over the world, like how awesome that really is.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
That is the type of game Stargate should be making. And they should make it in like Elder Scrolls Online, Fallout 76, I think would be the two that kind of make more sense to base it off of. Don't necessarily make like just that we're dropping into the war zone and we're fighting boys kind of deal, because that's what a lot of those games are.
Right.
But that Fallout 76 that Greg and I talk about every now and then, and Elder Scrolls Online, which is just like Skyrim and that new Oblivion game, the remaster, I guess, that came out earlier this year. Those are more like lived in of the world. You get to explore. Like every different player can go on the same quest and stuff like that, or you can go on a quest with kind of other people you're playing alongside,
Right.
And you do it at your own pace. Rather than just like jumping into a big fighting kind of thing. It would be fun to have like fighting like that mini games or something like that.
Yeah.
But Stargate is, like we've said, just such a rich freaking world. It would be so nice to be able to explore.
Right, and just be able to to have all these different things to do, and maybe there'd be planets where you're fighting war, maybe there's planets where you're puzzle solving.
Yeah.
I mean, you could even open it with like you're on the dig and you got to do things to actually dig up the gate to start the whole thing. I mean, there's just a lot of different interesting things you could do.
You're a new SG team. You just got sent through a Stargate, but the DHD is nowhere in sight. You either got to find it, uncover it, or find a way to another place or a ship or something. Get to another world with it. Something.
There's puzzles you have to solve to open doors and go places and whatever. It'd be kind of, if people that like that kind of thing,
The puzzles would be perfect. Like add in the little mini games that it might not be everybody's favorite thing, but the characters in Stargate have to go through the same thing. Okay, well, shoot, we need a Daniel Jackson with us right now, or something like that. Build a little team, or there's so many good things that you could do.
Right, or you have to go recruit people or something.
Starfield is halfway to making a great Stargate game. It's halfway to making a good Star Trek game. It's halfway to making a good Star Wars game. Starfield, I want to dive back into so bad, and I also just don't have the time. And also, I could make the time, but then I would never have time for anything else. And it's kind of like, it's one of those games. I never gave it the time it deserved, but it didn't grab me at the beginning either, which I was kind of shocked at. I was so excited for it, and I think my excitement levels raised the bar a little too high.
Yeah.
I don't think
won the Alliance, the name of that game I was talking about, I think. Yeah.
That sounds right, because Stanley's been saying Delegate interviewed the creator of the Stargate game a few weeks.
I think that was them. I think if they were building up around that time of like, what's his name was going to make more movies.
Oh, Emmerich.
Yeah, Emmerich was going to make another movie or two or something, but that all fell apart. Because that was when they brought they had Stargate Command, they started and all that. But anyway, that all went away. Anyway, do we want to do some housekeeping stuff?
Yeah, let's do some housekeeping, a little laundry list before we hop on out of here. I'm actually in about an hour having a lunch with Greg, and we're going to talk about some Radical Wasteland and some stuff like that. And maybe shove our faces full of Korean barbecue. That just happens to be part of it.
Yeah.
So Radical Wasteland this Friday. Sunday, of course, we have your regularly scheduled Sci-Fi Sundays. I might be in a hotel for that, though, because I'm going to go to San Francisco for a wedding this weekend. But that shouldn't affect anything. A hotel should be fine Wi-Fi wise and all that.
Right. They have Farscape Trion.
And Farscape Trion on Monday. And I'll be back plenty of time for that one. The last two were fun. A lot of fun.
Yeah. Crazy, especially with the anyway. Eyeballs.
Octoeye again. Oh, what is up with all these freaking eyeballs right now?
I don't know.
Oh my god. My voice acting coach, Chris Carr, also does a bunch of stuff online. She's like part of the old John Campea show and all that. And she's notorious for not liking eyeball stuff. And I think I'm starting to understand it a little bit. Beforehand, I was like, oh,
it is kind of
gross
touching eyeballs and stuff. I mean, anyway. I mean, I wear contact lenses, so I'm used to. But anyway,
Oh, that makes sense.
but,
Yeah, A Clockwork Nabari proved itself.
Anyway.
Why it was named A Clockwork Nabari
Mhm.
in one scene in
Yeah.
particular.
Yeah.
Whew.
Anyway,
Whew.
we were talking about next outpost being the 22nd, right? But we were talking about doing 2 outposts in a row. So
Yes,
we do V for Vendetta on the 5th, right?
that's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so no Stargate Outpost the 15th.
Right, which would be anyway. Yeah.
Yes, so regularly you're bi-weekly.
Yeah. Yeah.
15th, we're hanging. 22nd, we're hanging with Outpost.
Yep.
At the Outpost. That's how we're going to say that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
And on the 22nd, we're hanging at the the 22nd
29th.
we're hanging at the Outpost. The 29th we're hanging at the Outpost.
Right.
And the 5th we'll be back, but not with an Outpost this time.
Right.
We must remember the 5th of November of Gunpowder Treason. God, I was doing so good. Treason and plot.
Yes.
I can think of no reason why the Gunpowder Treason should ever be forgot, or whatever it is. I think that was close. Besides the treason and plot, or whatever. I'm switching letters everywhere now.
Yeah.
Can you tell we've been doing this for a little over 2 hours now?
Yeah. Yeah.
We
got to decide what we're going to talk about for the next outpost too, but we'll get
there. If y'all have any ideas, don't do it in the live chat right now, but if you could actually comment under the actual video kind of itself, let us know any ideas y'all have for upcoming Stargate Outpost, and not only will we consider them, but there's a good chance we'll do them. There's, you know what I mean. Anyway, Alliance would have been set around season 7, season 8, focusing on Anubis and him awakening an alien species so dangerous the agents couldn't beat them, only locked them away. So is that what the Ori storyline ended up becoming, essentially?
I don't know. This would have been post the Ori. I mean, not in terms of like the show, because the game would have come out after the end of anyway.
That's true too.
Yeah.
A little Babylon 5 almost. Well, I think that is our housekeeping. I think that's our laundry listing.
Yep.
We've given Stargate awesome things to consider, awesome things that could have been, awesome things that were, and we wish would have been continued, and awesome ways that they could continue making Stargate as amazing as it has been in the past.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. I got my toes crossed, my legs are crossed, arms are crossed.
Yeah.
If you got something, cross it, because we're fingers crossed. Everyone, everywhere, always, at once. Something like that.
Yeah.
This has been Stargate Outpost. We love y'all. We appreciate y'all. We will see you this Friday on the Radical Wasteland. And have a wonderful rest of your day.
Bye.
Adios.